It's time. Because it's morning and it's coffee time, which means it's first cup time. Hooray! And the studio audience applauds. It doesn't exist. Clap, clap, clap. I slept really well. Oh, all right, here we go. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. The first cup mug is in the dishwasher. I'm not sure why. I was cleaning up and just went crazy. And instead of rinsing it out, I just put it in the dishwasher. So now I'm using this thing. This was a gift from my mom. Not this past Christmas, but Christmas before. Somebody locally handmade it. That's the kind of stuff she gives. I would tell you who, but that would require turning it over, and I'm not about to, be a cliche this early in the morning. Well, none of the interviews happened yesterday. Actually, that's not true. I take that back. Josh Blum and I recorded yesterday. We did another fight scene thing, and this one came out even better. But we had a reschedule and a cancel, and it's really starting to be a kick in the junk. Leslie and I have been talking about it, and we've got a strategy, and we've opened up a few more slots. We've got to build up a buffer of episodes. We've been running like no buffer. The episode that is recorded right now has to go out on Monday. So it's unfortunate. We'll figure it out, because we always do, right? I mean, that's what you do. You have a problem, you address it, you come up with a solution. If that one doesn't work, you come up with another solution. You work on it until you find something that does. You go forward. What else happened yesterday? Had an acupuncture appointment. It's always great. I don't know if any of you out there get acupuncture, but it's great stuff. You should consider it. I go more just for general well-being at this point. I've had acupuncture for specific things in the past. To be honest, I attribute acupuncture for helping me get off antidepressants in my 20s. And I think that's the only acute thing I've used it for. But I've been having acupuncture for 20 years, so hard to remember. What else? What's going on today? Today's busy. Today I got some client work going on site with a client. I got to do all the books, and just more work, coaching some CrossFit, hanging out with friends tonight. Hanging out with a friend tonight, and I think that's it. So nothing too robust to report. That's an interesting word to use there. I was woken up to the sound of the cat going, the worst noise in the world when you're sleeping. So I put her off the bed, because you don't want that. Ugh. All right. Clearly, my life is not interesting. I'll answer these questions. How small is too small for a tournament division? And should divisions be combined according to age? And should divisions be combined according to age first or rank? All right, two-parter there. How small is too small for a tournament division? Depends on the tournament, depends on the age, depends on the rank, depends on a lot of things. I am not a big fan of individual people competing individually. I think it loses some of the magic. When I have say, I will always bump people up to the next division. Um, I will always bump people up to the next age division. Um, but there's an exception for the really, really young ones. You know, a 4-year-old white belt and a 4-year-old blue belt aren't going to be that different. Most tournaments that I go to have, you know, 5 and under as a single division, regardless of rank. But let's say you've got a 10-year-old intermediate division, you know, blue, green, purple, that sort of thing. And there's one person. I'll bump them up to the 10-year-old advanced, you know, red, brown division. If it's a tournament where, you know, there's some kind of points being awarded, I will have them compete together, but they will be awarded separately. So there's no issue with points. There's something really nice about competing with other people. And you lose that if you're the only one in the division or if there's 2 in the division. I often combine, hey, we've got 2 in this division and 2 in that division. Let's make a division of 4 that makes sense. Sometimes I can get 3 divisions combined so they get to compete together, so they get to spar together. It's, if you look at it from the perspective of people paying money to come and compete, unless there are points on the line, very few people care solely about the trophy. A lot of people don't even want the trophy. I know people who don't even pick up their trophies anymore if they have so many. But people are looking to get better. How do you get better when you're on your own? Right? How do you elevate? I've also had circumstances where we've turned it into a mini clinic. We have the person do their form, we score them, and then, okay, let's spend 2 to 3 minutes, because we easily would have spent 10 or 15 minutes if it was a full division. Spend 2 or 3 minutes offering some constructive criticism. Or the same thing with sparring. Sometimes I'll have one of the corner referees that I know I can trust step in and spar with someone, and obviously they spar down, you know, they're not going full tilt, and we offer some constructive feedback to the person sparring. And across the board, when I've done that, the competitor is happy, and if it's a child, their parents are happy. Because we're looking for ways to help them get better, and that's what competition should be about. Helping people get better. So the second part of that question, what should be, when you're combining, what should you be looking at, age or rank? Generally rank. I would rather have a 13-year-old brown belt compete with a 15-year-old brown belt than a 13-year-old black belt. Because that 13-year-old black belt might have, you know, many more years experience than the 15-year-old brown belt. Is the 15-year-old going to be taller? Probably. Are they going to be better? Probably. But the gap is probably going to be smaller than when you step up a brown belt to a black belt. Stacy's writing in, I've hopped in and sparred when there was a division of 1. She still won, but earned it. Exactly. If you think about it from the perspective of money, okay, I got up early. I made sure my uniform was clean. I packed a lunch. I drove to this place. I put my uniform on. I warmed up. I paid money to be here. Maybe I'm missing out on a event with friends or family, or maybe I even took the day off of work. And you go to your report to your division and you're the only person. I think sometimes promoters forget what that feels like. Sometimes promoters forget what that feels like. We've got to make it worthwhile to people. I always give the person the choice. If it's a kid, I give the parents the choice. Hey, I want to bump them up. I've seen that kid that bumps up, clean house in the next division. All the older kids were quite upset. I've seen it happen multiple times. That kid's going home a lot happier than if they hadn't done anything and just got handed a trophy. Nobody likes that. Coffee. Next. Great questions, Gabe. We've got some Muhammad Ali quotes. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The hands can't hit what the eyes can't see. If you watch Muhammad Ali, if you watch his movement, there was a lot of extra. He was always moving. He was always moving. And that made it really hard to know when he was initiating motion to strike. And if you couldn't tell right away, that meant you had even less time to react to a man who was very fast. And if you have a very short period of time to react to that hand coming at your face, there's an even better chance you're going to get hit. There are two schools of thought generally in competition fighting across the board. Constant motion to mask what you're doing, so you can, like Muhammad Ali, initiate that strike. Or being incredibly still yet relaxed and striking as quickly as possible. I tend to see that more in we'll say the Japanese karate fighting, WKF stuff. Neither is right, neither is wrong. It depends on the rule set and what's going on there. I think generally, for most people, learning how to hide your motion with small movement is advantageous because it applies to most competition combat scenarios. It applies in boxing, it applies in open tournament point fighting, it applies in kickboxing. So I think learning that is important, but learning how to move from a still position quickly, like the strike of a snake, I think that's pretty darn valuable too. To be sitting here, relax, boom. People didn't even know to be ready. You can lull them into complacency if you appear relaxed. Next. The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. That seems like another way of saying keep working. Try. Start. I see people looking for these perfect setups before they start doing something. Oh, once I get this, and once I do this, and once this is in place, and it's never perfect, so they never start, so they never reach their goal. And that's just silly. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to have that expertly designed foundation to launch from. If you're an entrepreneur, you never have enough money. If you're an athlete, your body's never in perfect shape. You work with what you have. So if you have a goal, start. If you have a dream, wake up. Begin. Yeah, don't wait. Often, it isn't the mountains ahead that wear you out. It's the little pebble in your shoe. Well, I like that. We spend so much time avoiding big problems that we can sometimes let little ones pile up. And it's not beneficial, certainly. I'm trying to think of a good example. It's a weird way for me to drink my coffee, isn't it? It's just what happened. I don't have a good example. But it reminds me of the death by 1,000 cuts sort of thing. There's always little stuff that we deal with. And it's usually that stuff that is exhausting, not the big stuff. It's the straw on the camel's back. Look, we got a bunch of cliches for it. And that's probably why. Cliches are usually rooted in truth. There's some element of truth through history that turns it into a cliche. That's why I'm so big on frequency with training. That's why 2-Minute Martial Arts exists. That's why this show exists. Let's do things a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be all at once. All at once doesn't work so well. Little bits often work better. Most of us don't do well eating one meal a day. We eat several meals. Most of us don't do well going to one martial arts class a week. We try to go more frequently. You don't take one big breath of air and call it good. You gotta keep breathing. So watch out for those pebbles in your shoe. Maybe you get better shoes. How do I stave off these frequent negative aspects in my life? Good stuff. All right. I got some homework for you. Now, it's still snowing. It was snowing yesterday, the day before, and the day before, and the day, just always. All it does is snow. All right. Here's what we're doing. You're going to ask me some questions. You're going to drop them below, and I'm going to answer them tomorrow. We had 2 people. I want to see 3 people a day asking questions. That would make me very happy. If you're not, you should subscribe to this channel because we put out this show every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. But we also put out other stuff. Stuff that hopefully you're paying attention to. Martial arts radio and such. Tell some friends. Help the show. Help Whistlekick in our efforts to support the traditional martial arts. You can make a purchase. First cup. No. Yes. No. You can make a purchase at whistlekick.com with the code FIRSTCUP15 to save 15%, or you can support the Patreon. Patreon.com/whistlekick. All right, now for the homework. There we go. That was rough. Thanks for bearing with me. All right, hold on. That warrants a sip of coffee. Yeah, Stacy just wrote more coffee. Yes. All right, here's your homework. I like that analogy of the pebble in the shoe bringing us down. It can be really easy to say, oh, but it's just a pebble, because our sights are set on these big things. And they should be set on big things. We should be set to yearn for bigger things, to avoid big bad things. But those pebbles exist. Take a few minutes, take stock of those pebbles. What are the little things, the 1,000 cuts that are bringing you down a bit? For me, one of the ones for me that I am getting more bold about is the negativity I see from people on social media. So I've been unfollowing people on Facebook left and right. It used to be unfollow for 30 days. I think snooze was the term Facebook uses. Now it's just unfollow. If you're constantly negative, I don't need you in my life. We can be friends, but I'm not going to watch the crap you post. That's a good example of pebbles. Those things don't make my life significantly worse. But if you were to find a way to quantify it, it adds up. That pebble creates a blister. That hurts. Changes the way you walk. Okay. I hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.